Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. My 21 male's stepfather was a towering figure of terror in my life. He would often come home drunk and lash out at me emotionally. When I was 5 years old, I had always longed for a father figure, and when my mother remarried, I was thrilled at the prospect of having one. But that excitement was short-lived. The moment I met him, I knew that he was not the father figure I had hoped for. I was only 6 years old then, and I couldn't understand why he was so cruel to me. As I grew older, the abuse only got worse. When my half-brother, who is now 18 years old, was born, things became even more difficult for me. He would force me to work odd jobs and pay for expensive gadgets that I couldn't afford. I felt trapped in a never-ending cycle of abuse and despair. I didn't know how to escape, and I felt like there was no one I could turn to for help. It seemed like my life was only destined to be filled with pain and misery. But when I turned 18, I decided that enough was enough. I knew that I couldn't continue living in fear and pain, and I made the bold decision to cut ties with my abuser. It wasn't easy, and I had to face many challenges along the way, but I was determined to create a better future for myself, free from the constant torment that Mike had inflicted upon me. Over the years, I worked hard to build a life for myself. I got a great job, made amazing friends, and found love with a partner who truly understood me. But even though I had moved on from my past, the memories of the abuse still lingered in my mind. And then, out of nowhere, my stepfather reappeared in my life. He claimed to have changed and wanted to make amends for all the pain he had caused me. I was skeptical, of course. How could someone who had caused so much harm suddenly become a different person? But then he revealed that he needed a kidney transplant, and I was a match. I was stunned. Part of me felt like I had to help him simply because we were family. But another part of me couldn't forget all the trauma he had caused me. Giving him my kidney would mean giving him power over me once again, and I wasn't sure I was ready for that. As the news of his condition spread, my family members pressured me to donate my kidney. They said that I had a duty to help my stepfather, despite everything he had done to me. But I couldn't shake off the feeling of hesitation and uncertainty. I knew I needed help to sort out my feelings, so I sought the guidance of a therapist. Through several sessions, I came to the realization that I needed to prioritize my well-being and self-respect. Giving him my kidney would mean allowing him to have control over me once again, and I couldn't let that happen. So I made the difficult decision to withhold my help. I knew it wouldn't be easy, and I was fully aware that it would cause a rift in my family, but I had to do what was best for me. I couldn't sacrifice my mental health and happiness for someone who had caused me so much pain. So am I the a-hole not donating my kidney to my stepfather? Update. In a shocking twist, it was revealed that he already had a donor, but he refused to pay him compensation for the wages the donor will be owing due to the procedure. Yeah, stepdad was being a cheapskate. He had been relying on me to give him my kidney for free, knowing that he had no intention of compensating me for it. How could he have put me through all that emotional turmoil, knowing full well that he had other option? I might have been trapped in a cycle of abuse and manipulation once again. But instead, I chose to prioritize my needs and well-being, and I'm all the better for it. Now I'm able to live my life on my terms, free from the fear and pain that once consumed me. To anyone who may be going through a similar situation, I want you to know that there is hope. It's never too late to make a change, and start living the life you deserve. I'm glad you chose yourself and your mental health over everything else, OP. It doesn't make you an a-hole. Your stepfather, however, is a big a-hole. I can't believe he's trying to use you again after all these years. He was planning on getting your kidney for free. He didn't care about how painful or damaging the process would be for you. He just wanted you to do it for him so he wouldn't have to pay a donor. Please cut him out of your life. He's never going to change. With the help of therapy, you've made some peace with your past, but you don't need him to cause pain in your future also. Story 2. My son S is 10. I take him to this swim group at the YMCA, which has a range of different ages of kids. One woman brings her son A, who has Down syndrome. S is friends with another kid, C, who is a bit of a troublemaker. Last week, A's mother came up to me and said that C told her that S had called A retard. A's mother was very offended by this, of course, and demanded that my son immediately apologize to her and to A. I'm not a "my kids can do no wrong" kind of mother, but I always want to make sure I understand the situation. I spoke to S privately about what was going on. S seemed really surprised and said that C had been the one to call A the name. I pressed him several times and he always had the exact same story. I'm disappointed in him for not standing up for A, but I believe it's true that C was the one who called A the name. S is very, very shy and reserved. This behavior would be extremely unusual for him. A's mother called me and demanded that S apologize. I said that he did not do it and asked if she had spoken to C's mother. She said there was no need to because she already knows who the culprit is. I asked her if A had told her himself what had happened, which I would understand and accept. A's mother told me that he was not capable of recounting the story and didn't really remember what happened. I basically told her I was not going to force my son to apologize for something that he didn't do, and she got furious. She spoke to the rest of the mothers in the swim group who are now mad at me for not forcing my son to apologize. My husband says that I should have just had S apologize, since it wouldn't do him any harm. I feel like it would demonstrate to him that I will not stand up for him and I won't believe him no matter what, which would set up a very poor dynamic in our family in the future. Am I the a-hole? OP, I think pretending to know who said it and who isn't lying isn't gonna work well. We want to trust our kids to do the right thing, but they don't always. Sorting out what he said or she said is a lost cause. So instead you can explain why that was bad and why he needs to stand up to stop it if he sees it. You can also talk about what he can do now to make it better. Maybe recruit him to apologize for what happened, whether he did it, watched it, or wasn't even there for it, by explaining the good that can come out of it and how much it would mean to others. Now for some comments. Have your son apologize for not standing up for A when C made the comment. And make your son take a break from hanging around C. It shows you are taking it seriously. Have your son apologize for something he genuinely did do and punish the real culprit. Not the a-hole. Your husband is wrong. Having your son apologize for something he didn't do would do him harm. It can actually cause a lot of harm. Please don't make him apologize under any circumstances unless he admits to having done it, or you find out he definitely was the one to do it. You are choosing your son over the angry mothers in the swim group, and you know what? That's the right decision. No a-holes here, but I think you could have handled this slightly better. While you shouldn't force your kid to take responsibility for something he didn't do, you should ask him to take responsibility for what he did do, which, as you acknowledge, is to fail to stand up for A. Teach your kid that it's wrong to stand by when others make bad decisions. You don't have to punish him for anything, but you absolutely can encourage him to think about how inaction is endorsement. If someone insulted you and your friends said nothing, would the insult or the silence be more painful to you upon reflection? Even if that's not at play in this exact situation, it's a valuable lesson and a fine time to teach it. Story 3. So, my husband's sister has 5 kids, and the 2 youngest are 9.5-year-old twins. I have significant issues with the children's mother, but I don't believe it's their fault that their mother is empirically terrible. So when we visit, I often, but not always, like to bring each boy a small gift. Nothing too outrageous, a book or a small toy in the $5 to $10 range. One child, no matter what we bring him, is delighted and surprised that we got him a gift. He thanks us and is quite effusive in that thanks. His twin brother, no matter what we bring him, complains that it's not right. He's already read it, or it isn't something that interests him, or some sort of issue. Never thank you, never appreciate the effort, nothing. Just whines that it isn't a good present. So I don't enjoy picking out or getting gifts for the second boy. It's nothing but complain. On the other hand, the first boy is such a joy to give gifts to, and I don't want to stop giving him little gifts because his brother is kind of a jerk about it all. So would I be the a-hole if I stopped bringing a nice small gift for boy 2? Edit. Many of you have suggested that I talk to him about how it isn't appropriate to react this way when someone gives you a gift. I have. We have had that conversation multiple times. I have also asked him multiple times what interests him. He says Nintendo and YouTube. Those are the sum total of his current interests. I'm trying, I really am. Additional edit. In the interest of full disclosure, I have had increased difficulty in dealing with the twins. Both of them, but in particular this other one, since my husband and I had a stillbirth last year. I'm trying not to take this out on the kid, but I get so pissed at the mother. I know I would not be a perfect mom, I know that, but holy shit, I would do better than this. Anyway, I don't know if this is playing into it all, but I figure the more information you guys have, the better you can provide constructive advice. Look, I really want to do the best for this kid. He just pisses me off. Final edit. I have been judged as the a-hole. I will continue to give the children gifts of approximate equal value and work on getting things more aligned with his interests. I will also make sure that if he complains that I will simply take the gift back and politely remind him that these gifts are not a requirement. Hopefully, we will both do better going forward. Yes, you would be the a-hole, but I don't think you should feel bad about doing it. A justifiable a-hole, if you will. Next time, I would only bring the gift for one of them. When the rude one asks where his is, you can respond with, "Sorry, I didn't get you one. Every time I do, it seems to be wrong and it upsets you. And I don't want to upset you." Now for some comments. Not the a-hole for feeling this way. I agree that it needs to be a learning point for the ungrateful one, but don't think this is the answer. It may just lead to resentment between the boys and become damaging to their relationship. Maybe you could try giving them gift cards so he can choose what he wants. I don't know if you would be comfortable doing this, but I grew up poor and my father would have us write a list of things we wanted under a certain price range for Christmas, and he would choose something from that list. Try it, seriously, as an aunt if one of my nieces or nephews, I have 10 plus kids I actively buy gifts for ages 1 to 13, was consistently telling me the gifts I got them was bad or not good enough, then I would at least once not bring them something just to get a reaction and then open up that conversation. In all honesty, I would probably have a backup gift. Something small like candy or something, but I would at least make it seem to them that I hadn't gotten them anything. Some kids are just ornery and need you to be ornery back at them. It's all love though. You would be the a-hole. In my opinion, I think it would be best to keep bringing a small gift if that's what you enjoy, but also giving them lots of love, which you sound like you already do. The only difference is to not take the one twin's attitude to heart. He's growing up and with what sounds like a rough time for him. So if he's not appreciating your gift outwardly, I'm sure inside your love is impacting him in a positive way. Sometimes you gotta try to impact others in a positive way without expecting anything positive in return. It's hard when the one parent is difficult. I really hope your relationship with him improves and you sound like a lovely person.